What is up, everyone? It's your boy Infrar-Ed. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I bring you an anime review of ReZero Episode 6. As once again, this series continues to climb the ladder and continue to exceed my expectations each week, as each one just gets better and better, as we have once again another solid episode that hit all the right notes that it needed to. And once again, also, it has solidified its place in the top this season, along with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Boku no Hero Academia, as I am just amped to see this every week. You gotta add Cabaneri as well, so I'm one more short of a top 5. The 5th will probably be Sakamoto, but that's another video that maybe I'll get to at another time. For now, I want to get to this episode and start breaking it down for you, as we got some questions answered, we got more questions brought up, and we are left with another stunning revelation. So without further ado, let's get to the breakdown. Our episode starts off with Subaru waking up understandably traumatized. He was brutally murdered at the end of last episode. He literally wakes up this time like he was in a nightmare, which shocks Rem and Ram, who are looking at him in fear this time instead of more docile as they were before. But that's understandable, as someone just wakes up like, oh my god, what happened? I mean, he's just screaming because he got wrecked last episode. So we start over again. We're at our save point, and Subaru's beginning to put things together as he's died in different ways. The first time he died in his sleep. The second time he was brutally murdered. So he put together that someone's clearly trying to take him out in particular in this castle. So he's going to spend a majority of the episode trying to find out who that is, trying to identify the attacker overall. That's what he's going to do different, and try to get to the bottom of what was going on, because the only thing that he can remember before he got wrecked last episode was that he heard some chains, and he's going to try to find out the origin of that. It is here that we get the nicer points of the episode, as everything is going exactly as it was before, even back to him meeting Betty again, who at first I gave her a little bit of a hard time, but I'm really beginning to like her as a character. She's beginning to grow on me, and she's just genuinely annoyed with this guy coming up to her and constantly acting like he knows who she is, and vice versa. So she's just literally annoyed, and he's a kind of an annoying character if you think about it. I mean, in a sense, he's acting like how we would if we was in a video game, but to someone who doesn't know this person, she's looking like, dude, what the hell are you? What the hell's wrong with you? Get out of here. Leave me alone. Bye. Go. To the point where she actually blasts him out the window at one point in this episode, sending him face first into some manure in front of Amelia. So you know, Amelia sees him and he's like, oh, 3-second rule, I gotta get it off, I gotta get it off. So she sends out Puck to wash the manure off of him, and she sends Puck to do this, and he sends him into a water tornado, spinning them around. And then him and Puck get a nice moment together as they're sitting there playing with each other. You know, they're playing slap fighting and everything. And this makes Amelia smile, as Puck mentions that she doesn't have friends. So to see her in this type of light is really good. Subaru also put together that he always died on the 4th night, and he's going to get up to day 3 this time, as everything's coming full circle and he has to once again meet up with Roswell. So here Subaru starts to put a list together of things to help him identify the attacker as far as his causes of death. Roswell has always been suspicious, and he also noticed that Roswell has chains coming from him when he walks. So he puts that together. He died in his sleep, so he also suspects that magic was used in one of his deaths as well. So now you got possible magic for one death. You had the chains of the attacker for the second one as well. And also in this episode, I finally got the names of the two maids right. So the red-haired one name is Ram, and the blue-haired one name is Rem. So I can finally get those two together and give you a better description when I'm talking about the two, because they get a lot of focus between this episode and the last. In his investigation, Subaru decides to go talk to Betty again. He's still met with the same "what the hell are you doing here" type of mentality. However, he is able to get a few things confirmed, as she says that she was the one that healed his wounds overall, because Amelia isn't that strong. So we found out that Betty is one of the strongest people in the land as far as magic, as even Roswell doesn't have the ability to heal fatal wounds as which she was able to do. She also says that whatever happened to him as far as him being sick was more likely a curse. That or mana drain, because mana drain can cause these type of effects on people through time if it's happening slowly. So perhaps someone was taking the mana from him a little bit at a time without him knowing at this point. And once he learns that, Subaru starts to banter with her again. Once again, she gets pissed off with him, shoots him out the window once again with her magic. He's down on the ground face first again. And again, it was just funny. The banter and the reactions between him and Betty are really good right now, and they're really funny, bringing the lighthearted things into the episode, as well as the Puck and Subaru interactions as well, so we get to see a different side of Amelia. And it is also at this point that we're at now that the episode really opens up, and this is the main focus of the episode, as Ram is the red hero one. I just corrected myself on that. Ram comes into the room and he notices that this time around, both of the maids are more reluctant or distant from him than they were in the previous life. They were a little bit more nice. But this time, they still serve him tea, and Subaru notices that the tea that she gives him is always nasty. And she says, well, this is the leaves that are used at the mansion. So I'm wondering if the tea is what caused the poison with him. It seems like it's multiple things that took place that caused to his overall death each time. And remember, Roswell is suspicious of him being an assassin. So maybe they're just trying to take him out in his sleep and cover it up without anybody knowing. Except they miserably failed that second time with the way he just got brutally dispensed. But anyway, on that point, she does begin to open up to him a little bit and sit down and have tea with him and talk. And he begins to talk about a fairy tale that he was very interested in about the red ogre and the blue ogre. And what the story was is there were two ogres, and this blue ogre was like kind of, I won't necessarily say he was the meaner of the two, but the blue ogre wasn't as accepting to people as the red ogre was. The red ogre wanted to go out to the town. It wanted to talk and meet with people and be friends with people. So because they're ogres and they're scary looking, what the blue ogre decided to do was to go to the town and cause a ruckus, and then had the red ogre come in and thwart it and save it so people can look at it at a better light. Once that was done, the red ogre started to interact with the people more. And this story was called The Red Ogre Who Cries. And that came in because after spending time with the people, one day the red ogre went home to a letter from the blue ogre saying that now that you're with these people, you are happy, but I can't be around you anymore because people are going to see you like they see me, which caused the red ogre to cry. So in a sense, the blue ogre decided to sacrifice their togetherness so the red one can be happy. And if you notice, this is almost the exact opposite of what we saw with the two sisters before, because remember, Rem is the one with the blue hair, and that was the one in the previous life from last episode who was going to the town and playing and interacting with the people with Subaru, while Ram stayed behind at home, and she's the one with the red hair. So it's almost like the same story with these two, but in reverse. So that story is over. Subaru says this is a story that he really likes. However, Rem isn't too accepting of it. I'm sorry, Ram. I'm going to get these two mixed up, but Ram is the one with the red hair. So Ram doesn't really like the story, as she says if the ogre wanted to be more like the people, they should have took off their horns and made themselves look less inviting, because the person who lost the most in this one was a blue ogre, because now that person is a monster and is also lonely, while the other one is accepted by the people. And you can kind of understand where that's coming from as well, and she doesn't really like the story. She goes on to that point also to tell him do not tell Rem about this story because she would be upset about it. Next up, she also asked Subaru what other stories interest him, and he mentioned one is a story about the dragon, which the country is named after. There's a dragon outside the walls that is protecting the country and is bound by contract to do so. And once a new king takes over, that contract is over. That can lead to something big too, because what if somebody takes over again and doesn't honor that contract? You could possibly have a dragon attack the whole country, or you can have this person take over the dragon for nefarious means. That may be me thinking too far ahead, but that's always a possibility. The second story is the most interesting that interested Subaru, was a story about a jealous witch. Now, if you remember, that was Satella, or that was the name that Amelia was going by, and when he called her at the time when she was going by Amelia, when he called her Satella, she was upset and said, don't call me that jealous witch. So we're getting even more mysteries right now, as that's something else that we need to peel back and find out what the origin of that is as well. Our episode is now reaching an end as Subaru decides to leave the castle and go on to the town, and he made it. He actually survived the episode. Wait, this is a 24 episode series. I'm pretty sure it's more pain for him to come later. But he survived this episode overall. He says his goodbyes to everyone, and he goes outside and he says, you know what, I survived, but I'm still gonna watch over Amelia to make sure she's okay. Plus, he still hasn't found out who the killer was. It is at this point, as night begins to fall and he begins to reflect on everything, as he even remembers that he didn't go to town with Rem this time. That was something that was very different. So he didn't have that interaction with her that he had before, and he's beginning to cherish the interactions that he had with these people, because even though they don't remember it when he dies, he still remembers everything that happens with them, whether it's good or bad. So he remembers that he didn't go to town with Rem. He says, you know what, I don't want to die, but I still want to help. So he's going to try to find the pursuer and protect Amelia. It is here that out of nowhere, he is attacked by the chain, the big ball and chain that killed him before. But this time he was able to evade. As he hits the ground, evading the chain a second time and actually grabbing it to protect itself, it reveals that the person who actually was behind the chain is Rem. What? Mind blown, as we do have the identity of the killer, but why? Is she straight up on the assassin attack out of Rosewall? Is she really the ogre, but maybe she's just in a human sense, that ogre that we were talking about? We don't know. We're just gonna have to wait till next week, as that was our cliffhanger reveal at the end of the episode. And again, I must commend White Fox for using all of their time, because they skipped the ending video to give us more story, as all this was revealed while the credits rolled. And that was the episode in a nutshell. So holler at me in the comments. I'm interested in knowing what you guys' theories is about this. What do you think is going on? Do you think the maids are working on the order of Rosewall, or are they working on their own? What's going on? I don't know, honestly. I would have to sit and think about it a little bit more. But I do think we did find, at the very least, what happened as far as the poison. I think the tea that he was drinking is the poison that caused him. If they couldn't kill him by poison, by him going to sleep, because he did survive, then we're just gonna straight out murder him. So I think that's where we are right now. I'm also interested in knowing more about this dragon and if it's gonna play a bigger role into things. And also stay tuned, because I'm looking around and people are saying, the light novel readers are saying next week is when things are gonna get really good. So I can't wait for that. So that is it for the Scott Report. Thank you guys for joining me. As I always say, you guys could be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Go ahead and drop the video a like if you like the video, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as I bring you guys content almost every day. And be sure to join me Tuesday as I review Joker Game. So on that note, it's your boy Infrar-Ed signing out with the Scott Report. See you soon.